Okay guys, today in this video we're going to talk about gastritis and how to fix it. And in order to do that, you have to understand what is going on. And that's the big problem with the modern and holistic functional medicine community. They are completely clueless to what is actually going on, or actually like what are the different parts or the different sections of the stomach. So first off, there are two different parts of the stomach. There is the lesser curvature with this red section up here, and there is the greater curvature. And these two different sections of the stomach are responsible for different symptoms. So gastritis can occur in both of these sections. So first off, we need to identify which part of the stomach is causing symptoms right now. So the first question you need to ask yourself is, do you have a burning sensation? Do you have burning? This red area up here is the lesser curvature. Burning. You'll get burning sensations. You'll get ulcers. This is the tissue that ulcerates, ulcers, and GERD and acid reflux. So if you have any of these symptoms or have had these symptoms in the past, the burning, the ulcers, or the GERD, the acid reflux, the heartburn, then the lesser curvature of the stomach has been active. And if these symptoms are current, then you are conflict active in either a male territorial anger conflict or a female identity conflict. Now, I know you might think I'm crazy blaming this on emotions, but it is true. So all of our tissues in our body develops for a very specific survival purpose. And so when we experience a stressful situation, our psyche, our thoughts and our brain is going to interpret this situation and go, okay, which organ do I need to put into overdrive to help me overcome this situation? And this is what's happening. It's either a male territorial anger or a female identity conflict. This depends on your handedness and on your hormone status and your gender. Depending on your handedness, it changes where in the brain that this program will get turned on. So it could be different, or it could go to like a totally different organ. So the way that we do the hand test is we clap our hands together. And so I'm left-handed. Even though I'm right-handed, I am biologically left-handed. This is determined at birth. And some people clap like this, but like what hand is moving? So if I try to clap with my right hand, I'm going to do this little chicken wing thing right here and look all awkward. Like I can't do it. It feels weird. But this is completely natural for me. So I am left-handed. So you go to Learning G&M and look at the chart and kind of figure out whether it was male territorial anger conflict or a female identity conflict, and you can read the descriptions on the website. I'm not going to read them here because we kind of got a lot of information to cover in this video. So that's the first thing. If you had an endoscopy where they shove the thing down your throat and they look at your stomach, if you have polyps, now the polyps are going to show up on the greater curvature of the stomach. The polyps are going to show up down here. So polyps will show up down here, and there will be no burning. There's no burning sensation. And these two kind of share symptoms. They share the symptoms of indigestion, having that heavy stomach when you eat something, indigestion, maybe vomiting. So, but the difference with this, if it's this one, this is an indigestible morsel conflict. This is something in your life you cannot digest. Something you cannot digest, something you cannot accept, something you cannot break down. And so during the conflict active phase, usually people will not have symptoms. Like 9 times out of 10, no one will have symptoms. Someone could get diagnosed with stomach cancer, and that's what polyps are. They're tumors. They're tumors. But people with stomach issues in this part, they'll find the polyps, and that's a result of the healing phase. So the way this tissue responds is with in the conflict active phase is with cell loss, and then in the healing phase it's cell proliferation, and that's where it becomes inflamed to heal. That's where we get the inflammation. This has the inflammation in the healing phase, along with this one. So here, when this is conflict active, to help us digest this indigestible morsel, we're building more stomach cells so we can produce more digestive juices to break down this indigestible morsel. And then in the healing phase, the bacteria and the fungi get activated, and they break down these extra gut cells, and they become these polyps. Your GI doctor, or the axe murderer, he's going to say that, oh, these are cancerous, maybe we'll have to cut them out or something like that. They're just leftover cells that the bacteria and fungi were not able to remove. They were there for a purpose. The conflict is over, and now you're in the healing phase, and you're probably stuck in the healing phase. So chronic gastritis, you're stuck in the healing phase of one or the other, or both of these things at the same time. This might be in the healing phase, and then this might still be conflict active. So we need to determine, we need to understand what is going on. I need you to understand this. And then we need to identify whether it is conflict active or in the healing phase. So we can go here. Is this conflict active or in the healing phase? And a really easy question to determine that is, do I have a burning sensation in my stomach? Do I have GERD? Do I have ulcers? If the answer is yes, then it's probably still conflict active. Do you have insomnia? Do you have a hard time sleeping? Are your words always racing out of your mouth? Are you super high-strung person? Cold hands, cold feet. Chances are you're still conflict active. But if these were symptoms you had in the past and you no longer have a burning sensation, then chances are you are in the healing phase and you're dealing with the healing symptoms. And so yeah, if you're conflict active, you need to identify the conflict and resolve it. Either or, for either of these, you need to try to identify what the conflict was. What was a stressful event that happened before the burning sensation started? What was a stressful event that happened before your stomach issue started? What was something in your life you could not accept? And so if the conflict is still active, we need to resolve that conflict. And this is very practical things. If there's your next door neighbor's dog's barking, territorial anger, I can't believe my neighbor's such a jerk and he lets his dog bark all night. What are some potential ways we can fix this? Maybe I secretly install the little sound thing that blasts the dog's ears with sound when it barks. Maybe I go and I talk to the neighbor and he goes, oh, I'm sorry. And he fixes the problem. Or maybe he's a jerk and he says, deal with it. And then now all of a sudden there's more. Now it's more conflict active. So it's practical solutions to these things. And then when you get into the healing phase, it's all about identifying neutralizing tracks. So for someone who was in a territorial anger with the dog barking next door, maybe every time this guy sees a dog or hears a dog barking, his symptoms come back. Because in his psyche, he's going to be going through here, going through the healing phase. And in the first part of the healing phase, this is where, if it's going to be up here, that water flows in. When we're healing tissue, healing happens in a fluid environment. That's where the inflammation and the edema, the water flows into these tissues to help aid in the healing process. And then we have a spike in, how do I describe this? But we almost become, it's a healing crisis. This is when we also almost become conflict active for a very short period of time to squeeze out the edema, to squeeze out the water, and we can go into the scarring phase. But the problem is, while we're going through this healing phase, we keep encountering tracks, things that remind us of the conflict, and it just keeps us stuck in the cycle. So the ways to identify these tracks is, what happens right before I get symptoms? Maybe you're having conflict relapses. Maybe this person is getting in a fight with the neighbor about the dog barking every few months. Maybe the neighbor is really good, and for like 3 months the dog's not barking, and then 3 months go by, and all of a sudden, dog's barking again. Or maybe a new neighbor moves in, and their dog starts barking. So now the conflict is active again, and you were halfway through the healing phase, and now you're boom back into the conflict active phase again. More cell ulceration. And maybe that situation could be both. You are in a territorial anger conflict. You're angry that your territory is being, assaulted with all this dog barking day and night. You can't have a coherent thought. You can't go to bed at night. I've seen people go crazy over this stuff. I've been victim of this. And you could also have an indigestible morsel. It's, oh my God, I cannot believe that my neighbor is such a jerk, and then he lets his dog bark, and it's so inconsiderate to all of our other neighbors. So it could be both. So we need to stop blaming food and start to look at the emotional causes of this gastritis. What are the emotional causes of gastritis? Now, certain foods will help, easy to digest foods, smaller meals. We want to put the stomach under less stress while it's going through this healing phase. That will result in fewer symptoms. But what you need to ask yourself, are the symptoms do I have now, are they conflict active? Do you have burning symptoms right now? That's conflict active. You need to resolve the conflict. And then other than that, all your other symptoms, vomiting, indigestion and stuff like that, like what are my tracks? What tracks do I need to neutralize? What happens? What do I get emotional about? What happens right before I get symptoms? So that's all I have on gastritis, guys. And yeah, that's it. That's all you guys need to know. I mean, there's definitely more to know about this, and if you would like my help, I have something called the Rapid Gut Healing Program, and this comes with a video course where we go over in much more detail on what's going on here, and it also comes with a Facebook group where you ask questions and I answer all your questions every single day. And then twice a week we do live Q&As where me and my coaches will answer all your questions on a Zoom call. You turn on your video, turn on your mic, and I will answer your questions. So that is it. If you want more free gut health advice, go to my YouTube channel, and there was a ton of information there for free. But other than that, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys later. My name is Mike, the Heal Your Gut Guy, and good luck healing your gut. Bye-bye.